for fiscal year 2025. So that'll be next year. And there is an option there that would include Aspen, so it would be just an all-inclusive fee, but it would be a different model for a lot of our schools. So we really want to hear from you. So we'll put that out for member comment for all of our share members here today. So please, please, please take a look at that. And if you have any questions, we're going to have some town hall meetings in mid-September. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to me. We can make an appointment to talk about it as well. And so that's the big news about Aspen. We also are working on a new program for our standalone schools that are not share members called TriShare. And so that's an affiliate-based program where you would have access to our database for interlibrary loan, but it wouldn't be utilizing our circulation software. The purpose of TriShare program is to encourage future membership. And so we do understand that it can sometimes be difficult to communicate the value of a consortial membership to your administrators. And so that is, it's a kind of, I say it's always kind of like the person who's at the food court at the mall handing you that sample. You know, you want to try it out to be able to communicate that to your administrators. So if anybody is interested in that program, I would love to talk to you more about that. I will put my email in the chat. And that way you can reach out to me to learn a little bit more about the program. And so I'm also really excited to let everybody know we have a few new share members and they are schools. So we're really excited that they're joining us. We have the Greenview schools, the Giant City schools in Carbondale, and then also Freeburg Community High School. So we're so glad that they've joined us. And we also want to encourage anybody that's going to be attending ISLE or ILA to stop by the share booth. There's also, for any of the Cloud Library members out there, we also will be having an event to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the eRead grant program that has gotten so big and so valuable to so many people. So if you're going to be at ILA, it'll be on the Tuesday evening at the Bose Center North Terrace from 5:30 to 7. And so there will be an open bar and you know, snacks and things like that. So if anybody is attending, we'd love to see you there as well. And so I think that that's all I have. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Cassandra. If you just came in, I want you to be aware that the sign-in sheet is in the chat. So if you have not signed in, please sign in at that link so that we can give you your PDH. Next, I would love to introduce Danielle Beasley. Danielle and I have been having a day, let me tell you. We both got trapped in the bathroom because we kept stuttering to let the other one go out first, and it took us a while to finally figure out how to get out of there. Danielle, take it away and then tell me when you want me to show your slide, okay?
Sure. Yeah, so I am Danielle. I am Share's resource sharing specialist. One of my primary job duties is managing the Cloud Library collection. I may have chatted with some of you in the past if you've into any issues with that or had questions about content. You can go ahead and share my slide now if you'd like,
Okay,
Leah.
I will give it a try. It's giving me
No problem. But
it's giving me
so
problems.
for those that may not be aware of what Cloud Library exactly is, as Cassie kind of mentioned, it was a part of eRead. It stemmed from that. So it's a database that we use to access ebooks and audiobooks. It's available on multiple platforms, so Apple, Android products, Chromebooks. It does have a web browser that you can access it through, Kindle Fires, but it is not available on like Kindle e-readers or Paperwhites, just not compatible yet, although that's something that Cloud Library is trying to work with Amazon on, just not something that they are allowing. Amazon, that is, are not allowing currently. I just wanted to talk about some general highlights about Cloud Library. So currently, our total collection is just under 170,000 items. So that includes close to 55,000 items that are owned, meaning items that we ourselves have purchased, but also about 115,000 pay-per-use audiobook titles. If you are not familiar with our pay-per-use, or we shorten it to PPU, it is those simultaneous use audiobooks specifically. It's not available for ebooks. And basically how that works is no holds, no wait times. The only time that would come about that you may have to place a hold on those items is just when we run out of our PPU budget for the month, or a person has hit their limit on how many PPU titles they can check out. And that's not obvious on the patron side of things. Everything kind of looks the same. So a patron isn't really sure what's a PPU title, what's an own title. We just consider it all part of the collection. And we have a wide range of children's picture books all the way up to obviously adult content. So for juvenile titles, we have about 17,000 items currently in our collection. And for YA, it's about 22, close to 23,000 titles in our collection. And again, that's a variety of ebooks and audiobooks. Something new that Cloud Library has come out with feature-wise is a kids mode feature, which is more visually attractive to younger kiddos, more intuitive, or meant to be more intuitive because of the colorful buttons, larger text. Ideal for those elementary and junior high students, as it will only show those juvenile audience level titles, not the YA titles. Another feature we offer too is the scoping. So if you are not currently signed up for Cloud Library, scoping is available for you. That means that we can limit what your students see on their side of things. So they won't see those more adult, mature content titles because of whatever filters we have set up for you. So that's just a little bit about Cloud Library. I do have my email listed there, and I can put it in the chat as well. If you are not a part of Cloud Library and you would like more information or a demo or a trial, we do offer trials. If you would like to go ahead and test it out, I am more than happy to get you set up with that. Or if you are currently a part of Cloud Library and you just have any questions, maybe you want to see certain content added to the collection, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. And I think that's all I got.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop sharing. Let me see who is next on my list. I made the list. You would think I would know, but I have to check it out. Dina Porter. Dina is in our Carbondale office, and she is going to tell you all the magical share and system updates that you need to know.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody had a good summer. It looks like we're getting that hot spell, right, as summer's coming to an end. I am the person, my job title is the Share Administrative Services Supervisor, or Manager, sorry. I am the one who handles all of those back-end settings for Polaris Leap, if you're a Share library. So if you want your hold limit change, checkout limits, any of that type of stuff change, I'm the person to contact. I also want to mention that if you're new to the library or just need a little refresher after the summer, we do have new printed copies of a Leap and Polaris Quick Hits in circulation. So if you'd like copies of those, please let me know, and I'll put my email in the chat too. So if you want a copy of that, I can send it through the delivery, and I can get you one sent your way. I also like to remind people, be sure to check out the Share website, and I'll put the link also in the chat. It's share.illinoisheartland.org. This wealth of information on that site, especially under the trainings tab. Also in the circulation tab, if you click on the circulation tab, we have a special section just for schools as well too. So it is anything from handling your overdue notices, reports that you might find necessary to run, all of that's in there. And I think that's about all that I have. Again, like I said, anytime you have any questions about Polaris Leap, I'm kind of the point person for that. So do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, need training, we can get you going.
I forgot to say that if you do have questions, you can type them in the chat or raise your hand for any of our presenters. So feel free to do that. Let me see. Next, I would like to welcome our new operations manager, Colleen Dettenmeyer. Colleen, I'm going to put you in front of the delivery people. I'm going to flip you there so then you can introduce your team. Okay. Sound
Sounds
good?
good. Yep, fine with me. Thank you. All right,
I'm going to
hello.
make you a co-host. I forgot to do
Oh,
that.
right. Okay,
There you
great.
go.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Colleen Dettenmeyer. I am the IHLS Delivery and Facilities Director, and I will first introduce the delivery team. Not all the managers were able to make it today. I'll point to Linda Cates first, since I see her first on my screen. Linda, you want to wave hi? She is the operations manager there for the Champaign hub. So if you get deliveries from Champaign, Linda is your go-to person. And then Angela, who is unable to make it today, is also a good helper there. She's our delivery coordinator out of Champaign. So Linda and Angela, and I'll share my screen here in a little bit and show you about the delivery page and where you can find their contact information if you need to reach out to them. Next, I'll show Casey Parr. I know I saw you. There she is. Okay, I'm like, I know I saw her. There's Casey Parr waving down there. She's the IHLS delivery coordinator there out of the Carbondale hub. So she's your go-to person for Carbondale. And yet again, I'll show her contact information in just a bit. And then Leah McInerney, she's unable to make it today, but she is the delivery manager for the Edwardsville location. And then also Aaron Dell, who's unable to make it as well. He's the delivery coordinator for Edwardsville. I know I'm kind of overwhelmed right now with back to schools and the sorting. So a lot of them are stuck sorting right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And how do I do that? I think I just choose
Should be at the
share screen.
bottom.
Good.
Share
There we go.
screen.
Yep. And I'll just share my whole screen so I can show. Whoops, wasn't going to do that first. Here we go. And let me minimize so I can see. You should be able to see then the IHLS delivery page here. You can get that. I'll post the link as well, but you can also remember if you want, or a good way is to bookmark it. I like to bookmark pages. So if you use Google, you can just drag it here and drag it right down there, and deliveries then a go-to on your web browser. So the two main things you may use frequently are the delivery help desk or the hubs and routes. I'll click first on that delivery help desk. It's right there at the very top. This is where you can submit delivery tickets, or you want to let us know what days you're going to be closed throughout the school year, or, oh, something came up, we don't need delivery tomorrow, we need more bags, we've ran out, or tubs, we've ran out. Any of that, fill out your information here, name, email, phone number, which library, and then what you need help with. We've kind of updated some of the subject topics here, but if you choose the wrong one, it's fine. And then whatever your message is that you want. And once you submit that, we do receive those tickets. So we'll get back to you as soon as possible on whatever your needs are. And those do get sent directly to each hub. And then you can click here under the delivery to be able to go back to your page. Of course, you can call us at any time as well. This is the general delivery number, and that will ring to all of the hubs, but they'll be able to get you to transfer to the correct hub if you can't select the right location. And then another thing I wanted to show was the hubs and routes. Some may be familiar with the delivery on the go service, but some people are not. So what the delivery on the go service is, let me go down to that where it is here. It's if you have an item that's being requested from a patron and you're getting ready to put that in the tub to be sent back to sorting, and you happen to notice, oh, that's on the route later on that day, you can put it in these orange bags. I should have thought to have one of those to show you, but they're orange bags that are separate from the tubs. So the delivery on the go is so that patron could get it that same day on that same route, but it only works if they're later on the route for you on that same day. Otherwise, just put it in the tub and it will go back to our facility. We'll sort it to be able to go out the next day. So there's more information on that delivery on the go service on our website, or reach out to any of us if you have questions. But I wanted to show, whoops, went back too far, how you would find that out. So you would go to your hubs and routes, and then here's the contact information, of course, as well for all of our supervisors there. But for example, like Crab Orchard, You can start typing in your library here. It auto-populates, you choose who you want, and then you could see what route Crab Orchard's on. So you're a Route 2 out of Carbondale, and these are the days you're set for delivery right now. So as you scroll down, it will be start at the bottom. So Crab Orchard, you're like, oh, they're only going to Marion Carnegie and Marion School. So unless you have those two, it's not really going to work for delivery on the Go service for you. But another library I was thinking of, like Salt Fork, they might be higher up on the route, Route 6 in Champaign, and they've got, you know, a little bit more libraries that it would be going to. So this would only work if any of the patron that was requesting an item is going to like Westville, any of these libraries following her route. And then in that case, you'd grab that orange bag, fill out which library it's going to, and then when your delivery driver comes for that day, they'll grab that orange bag and they'll drop it off at Unity High School when they go there. So that's a pretty cool feature. And then it saves us from sorting the time, and then the patrons received that material that day instead of waiting. Another thing I wanted to show you were just some general guidelines to do with delivery. I will not go over them at all right now, but just know that there is a guidelines section here in our website, and you can review that at your own time. And then I spoke about the help desk. Here's the hubs and routes as well. Any upcoming news will also be shared in here. And then there's also a resources page. So any resources, this is like common links as well, like the routes, signing up for our email or text alerts. That's something, if you're not familiar with, IHLS will text out, say we're closed for inclement weather, or your route will be delayed. We're going to try to communicate with you via email or text through this link, and you can click on that there and get signed up for it. And then we have quite a big list of unidentified items. So if you feel like you're missing something, we have a list of items that are out here that we've been keeping on our shelves, hoping somebody will claim them. So please feel free to reach out to us if one of these items here are yours. And then the last item I wanted to go over is an AMH. I'm not sure if anybody has heard about this, but Illinois Heartland Library System we're looking into an automated material handling system. So what that means is currently we pick up all the materials, we bring them back to the IHLS hub, and we hand sort all of those items every day. So roughly 4 million items a year we're hand sorting, which is awesome that we are doing it, but we're looking into this technology to see whether or not it would be beneficial for us to invest in a machine that will be able to sort these items. So at the moment, we're still researching the options, and we're seeing if the cost of the machine is going to be worth moving forward. So the next step is to issue a request for proposal, and that's going to get us some accurate pricing on what the machines will be like. And then once we get that pricing, we will then determine if it's worth moving forward or not. Did I get a chat or a call or a question? I'm sorry. I heard a ding, but I wasn't sure if that was me or if that just happens, Leah, when somebody joins or comes
Nope,
on.
there is a
Okay.
question. It says,
Okay.
where do we find the link to set up holiday close days for delivery?
Okay, that is the help desk. So if you click on, either you can go here on the side under delivery and click on help desk, or if you just go to illinoisheartland.org/delivery, right there at the very top, you click this orange button for the help desk. And then oh wait, I'm sorry, were they asking for IHLS holidays, or were they asking
No.
for how to submit theirs, right?
To submit theirs.
Good.
Yes.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure before we went on through all that. So you'll submit that here. You commit name, email, phone, all that, and then you just say request. Where's that at here? Report closings scheduled. So then we know that these are your scheduled dates, and we can get to that ticket later on in the day. Whereas if it's a closing that's an emergency or unscheduled, you'll choose that. So we know that that's a right away ticket that we need to address. And then you'll just list out here in the message all the dates that you're closed, and then you can submit that.
Any other questions for Colleen? Don't see any yet. Okay. If you saw my face looking really weird while she was talking, it was not what she was saying. Our IT guy remoted into my computer to try to fix my PowerPoint. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know what all was happening. And I was just hoping that he could fix it, and he did, because he's awesome.
Leah, I forgot one
Alright.
of my reminders. if
Go
I can-
right ahead.
Okay, great. Please remember to return the empty tubs and bags after you're finished with them, because we are always running low on tubs and bags, and we cannot send items out if we do not have tubs and bags to give them back. And then another reminder I forgot about as well is when stacking the tubs to send the materials in, we've noticed that some have been like stacked on the spine where they're standing upright. That's not the correct way to stack them. I'm working on some communications to be able to send out like a proper way to stack a tub, but basically you would lay them flat, and you would, most materials, 4 items would fit per tub, but if it's a large book, you'd put the large book on one side and the other 2 smaller items the other way. And then of course, please not putting the DVDs or CDs or stuff like that at the bottom, because we don't want those to be crushed. So try to put those at the top if you can. So did I forget anything else, Linda
Nope.
or Casey?
We have a question. How do we get the
Okay.
orange bags?
Ooh, that help desk as well. So if you do not have any orange bags, please go to that help desk, submit a ticket and say, I need some orange bags, and we'll gladly send you some. And if you find out as well, we send you some and then you're like, I have a stack of 20 and I don't need this many, please send them with your driver and say, we're not going to use these, take them back, because sometimes we are low on those as well. And those bags can be reused, FYI. There's a line for each time it gets sent, so please don't discard them unless they are finished.
I also forgot to tell the IHLS people that after you finish your spiel, if you have to go, it is perfectly fine for you to leave. So I don't want you to have to sit here if you have 100 things to do, like we always do. All right. Thank you, Colleen. That was extremely informative, even for me, because I don't know that much about delivery. So next is Shandy. And Shandy, is there a longy or a shorty in your name? Is it Grieve? Shandy Grieve Penrod is going to talk to you about some marketing stuff and some interesting and informative website stuff. Take it away, Shandy.
Hey there, I'm Shandy Grieve Penrod. I am the marketing administrator at IHLS. And yes, I wanted to make sure everyone knew where a few things were on our website. I just jumped on a few minutes ago, but I saw Colleen was already showing you guys the help desk. So I'll breeze through that, but that is probably the most important, possibly the most important thing at least. Let me go ahead and screen share our website.
Oh, I have to make you a co-host, I think. Hold on. Okay, there you go.
Let's see. That one. All right, did I share the right screen? You see on our website?
Mhm.
Excellent. So our website, which we did have a redesign in December. So we did some user testing and hopefully things will be much easier to find than they used to be. In December, we added a very easy way to find things about all of our services, including delivery. So under services, delivery, we've got information about how our delivery works, you know, some of our what makes you know, our delivery as equal as we can between the libraries. And there's a link right up at the top for that help desk. So a lot of the questions you may have may be right down here. There's an FAQ. We also have a form where you can do lots of different things in here. You can submit your the days off, like your holiday schedule for the year. At the end of the school year, if you want, if we say, you know, we're ending delivery on such and such date, but you want to end it a little earlier, a little later, you can use this to let us know. If you believe an item has gone missing while it was in delivery, there's a place where you can contact us in here. Or if you have anything else, you are welcome to call us, but you can also use that email form and we can get someone back to you as soon as possible. Also, I wanted to show you a few other tools. We have our grants database in here. Now, this isn't quite as searchable as we would like it to be. We are working on that, but what we can do already is you can search by focus and by school library, so you can see what grants we have discovered that that are good specifically for school libraries or specific, sometimes it's for a specific program. It might be for e-resources or things like that. Our news, any system updates, we try to put right here in our news section. Events, our events are filterable, so you can search by school, by continuing education. If you guys are share members, you can search by LSAP, which would be share. Issues, this is where when we occasionally make resource guides, those will show up here. So the one that I think is probably the most useful right now is the censorship and book challenges in libraries. They get updated periodically. Sometimes we'll also have, if we have information that is maybe not so much for a full resource guide for info pages, we'll put that back in here in these articles too. Let's see, other services. Are resources for libraries database that has lots of things from, graphic design options to e-resources. So, and that is another page where it's starting to be filterable and searchable. We're getting it there. So it's nice. It's all right now. It is useful now, and it will continue to get better. We have, if you guys are not already on our email list, we have a subscriptions link right here. And from here, you can sign up for our newsletters, our building closing alerts, and emergency alerts, which includes like if there's a storm or a truck has a flat tire, there's gonna be delivery delays. These alerts, which can come by text or by email, can be right here. You can also find all of our listservs right here, including one for schools, which is right here. There's lots of other things on our website, but I think the last item I'd like to show you is just a little more fun item. Not too long ago, we developed an IHLS store online where if you are interested in having something to support, to just show pride in your membership in IHLS, you can find that here. However, we also have some other designs that have a bit of a broader appeal, including this one, which I thought you guys might like. So anything we earn on this will actually go to fund micro marketing grants for our member libraries, which could include schools. So if you need a small, we're still discussing what that threshold is, $200, $300, $400. We're not sure yet, but at some point in the future that'll happen. So my point is you can feel good about getting the stuff here, and there's some cool designs, and we'll be updating them on a regular basis. And these are all exclusive designs too. Someone on the IHLS staff has created each one of these. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I will try to show you where on the website various things are. Otherwise, thanks very much.
Thank you, Shandy. Shandy and Carol are determined to help me spend my paycheck at the IHLS store. I'm like, I have to have that. And Shandy just wore a new one that's not up there yet, but it says free to read, free to parent, because we were talking about how we'd like to form the opposite of Moms for Liberty, like Moms for Intellectual Freedom. So we're thinking about that t-shirt. I love it. Oh, that.
Oh, it was before my blur.
Yep. Yeah, it's got a little fox in it. We're not sure what the design is going to be next when we get that up there, but I love it. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen again. I think that is everybody. Did I get everybody from IHLS who wanted to address? I think I did. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things that I know, and I will tell you what I know about them. But if I don't know, if I don't mention what you want to know, please feel free to ask, and I will try to find out for you. I always say I don't know everything, but I hopefully know where to find it. So I'm going to try to share my screen again. And see what happens. Maybe. There, can you see my screen now? Can somebody say yes or no? 'Cause I'm
No,
no,
we do
okay.
not see anything.
Ah, what is happening? Okay, now do
It's
you see my
coming up.
screen? But it's not the, it's not the, it's
We
not,
We see
it's
your
not-
blank screen,
okay, hold on
like
one
your
second.
desktop.
Now do you see it?
Yay. Yes, we
Okay.
do. And in full screen.
All right. I'm gonna try to go to the page I want. And now it's not letting me change pages. PowerPoint is out to kill me today.
Maybe exit, that's what I was gonna say, exit the screen share,
Okay,
change it, and then go.
from current slide. There we go. Share screen. Screen one, share. Does it still say agenda at the top?
It does.
Okay. All right, well, I'm just gonna talk. I don't have any pictures to show you. I was just basically using the agenda to help keep me straight. So let me stop sharing. And it's like teachers, you know, when you try to teach something and technology lets you down for the day. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk to you about library learning. If you have not yet made an account at librarylearning.org, I'm putting the website in the chat. You need this website, you need an account at this website because it's the primary way that we get your contact information, and the state library gets your contact information, and they keep track of your library for things like the Illinois State School District Library Grant. If you have an account there, please go take a look at it and make sure that your email is still the same and your phone number is still the same. And while you're there, please look at your school's site and make sure that like your district office doesn't have a new address or a new fax number. If you see something that needs changed, you can let me know and I will be glad to help you change it. I can change most things from my end, and there are only some things that you guys can change. So if you're trying to change it, it's not working, please just let me know and I will be glad to change that for you. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is some updates and some laws that you guys, I'm sure, are hearing about. I'm moving things around on my two different screens. The first one is HB 2789. I'm sure you have heard about it. It's the book banning bill. Feel free to jump in with questions, or Michael Trees just says everyone is getting IHLS swag for Christmas. I love that. I think you should. My kids, I keep buying my kids t-shirts and sending them to them. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm like a dog with a bone. Okay. The first one is HB 2789, the book banning bill. Everybody says it bans book bans. It doesn't really do that. It just requires libraries in the state of Illinois who receive state grants to have a policy that basically says we support the American Library Association's Bill of Rights, meaning that we don't want to limit people's freedom to read. And the good news is that this year, this law does not apply to the library grant because the library grant is already open. It's due on October 15th, and the law does not take effect until January 1st. However, this means that next year, when you get ready to apply for that grant, you're going to have to answer a question about how you are meeting this law. So if your school district does not have a policy in place, a lot of people have this policy in place already under what's called a collection development policy or possibly under a reconsideration policy. If your school district does not already have that in place, they will need that. So if you need help with policy, we are going to talk about it at that November 9th professional development meeting. We're going to talk about some books that you might want to put on the shelf. And The best thing about having a policy is that it does help prevent book bans and challenges, because if a parent comes to complain to you, you can just point them to the policy and say, you know, we serve all people and this is how we collect our items and I'm following that policy. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so the policy needs to basically say, there's two ways to do it. You can just adopt the ALA Bill of Rights straight from the ALA website, and I'll put that in the chat. If you just Google Bill of Rights, and it basically says, you know, people have the right to read, and we're not gonna restrict what we make available in the library. Like we're not going to choose not to have any authors of color, for example. It is not saying that you have to stock any particular book or any particular kind of book. And the other thing I am careful to tell people is that selection for your library is not censorship. So if you are selecting books for your middle school library, you still are well within your rights to choose books that are age appropriate for that library. And according to your community and your school's makeup, and just keeping all that in place. However, I always warn people, even though you may work in a very small, tiny conservative school, there are kids who may want to read about transgender kids or LGBTQ issues. So I always say that's a fine line to walk, and it doesn't change, and this law doesn't change that. So if you are interested in learning more about that policy, please reach out to me, and I'm jotting down names as I see the questions come up, so I can send you a sample of some policies that covers it. Let me see, I've got Linda and Erica. And if you, I'll put my email in the chat too, so you have it. Ooh, Michael has a slide from our school's lawyer if you want to see it. I would love to see that. Do you want to share it with me and I'll share it, or do you want me to make you a co-host and you can share it?
Whatever's easier for you.
I'll make you a co-host if you don't mind.
Everybody can just take a screenshot.
Yep, that sounds great.
I'm getting there.
Okay, no problem. We're not in a hurry.
Can you see it?
Yes. So
And
yes,
if your school
great.
follows press for board policy, it's likely that your lawyer and your superintendent have already put that in your board policy, but you should double check.
You should double check. That's a very good point. And this really really boils it down. I really love that. So if you take a book off the shelf for personal, political, or religious reasons, or because a parent has a personal, political, or religious reason to complain against it, you can lose funding. So you have to basically adopt the Bill of Rights or have a policy that says that you would not remove a book for these issues. And Kate is exactly right. They have not released the administrative rules. So when those rules are released, there will be very specific guidelines. She just put that in the chat. We are hoping to hear something soon about that.
Okay. If you're good, I'll stop the shares. Everybody got their screenshot?
Is everybody good? Anybody still need the screenshot up there? Thank you, Michael. That was extremely helpful.
You're welcome.
I have a really hard time summarizing things. I always want to use like way too many words to describe it. Okay, the next thing that is coming up is the SB 2243. This is a literacy law that is going to require the Illinois State Board of Education to make a new literacy plan for the state of Illinois schools by the end of January 2024. And then they are going to be required to issue a rubric to schools for that same plan by July 1st of 2024. And I don't know much about this one yet, but I just think librarians should be aware of it. I don't think it says that schools have to adopt anything specific. They just want schools to compare themselves to the rubric to make sure you're providing a an effective literacy plan. So it's one of those things I always say when people ask me questions about state law, I never thought this job would require me to like sit there and reread these laws over and over again, trying to decipher exactly what they mean. So be watching for more about SB 2243. It might end up like the other law I'm going to talk about, which is the media literacy law, which went into effect last year. And there was a very big buildup and it kind of all frittered away. And ISB was developing like a rubric and some guidelines, and I don't think they ever issued them. So schools are doing the best that they can to comply with that law by providing in Illinois high schools a unit of media literacy instruction. Any questions about any of that? Something that has come up a lot lately is people are hearing that there is a law that prevents schools from charging free or reduced lunch students for library fines and lost book fees. Have any of you heard about this specifically from your administration at all? I've had a couple people come and ask
Yeah.
me.
I can actually tell you all about it.
What did you hear?
So yes, it is true. If a student is homeless per McKinney-Vento, or is receiving free lunch through the USDA guidelines, then the school district is required to waive all fines and fees for anything. I mean, it's like if one of our students stomps on their Chromebook because they're angry, but they're free lunch, we don't get to collect money from them. And so the law is written that the district is required to waive the fines and fees, and that's for anything like athletic fees, whatever. It doesn't stop us from charging them. So our school district policy is we're keeping the status quo. We're doing what we normally do. And then what we've had to do per the law, you have to do this. When you send out statements, you have to append something to the statement saying that if you qualify for a waiver, you may qualify for a waiver if you're on free lunch or experiencing homelessness per McKinney-Vento. So if those people then call us and say, I would like my fees waived, then we have to do it. But we're taking the passive approach to that. I know some districts are taking the aggressive approach and they're just, it doesn't matter. We're not even going to put the charges on the account. So it just kind of depends on how your district wants to do that.
That is what I have heard too. So that complies. That does match what I have heard, because I have like been reading and reading and reading so many different things and everybody has a different opinion. But I have heard that yes, you can charge them, you can invoice them, but you have to tell them that they may be able to qualify for a waiver. And if they ask for the waiver, then you have to take it off. Hopefully some of them will step up and pay and take the responsibility for it. Is there a
Right.
website where I can read that bill? Yes, Terza, there is. Am I saying your name right? I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I will write myself a note to send it to you so you can see the full details.
I'll put it in the chat. I'm just trying to find it here real quick. Oh, there it is. There you go.
Thank you. Every time I see ilga.gov, I'm just like, this is gonna give me a headache for the rest of the day. So that is going to be very interesting reading for all of you to take a look at. I titled this as things to keep on your radar, so I'm pivoting away from laws now, unless anybody has any more questions about that. We can talk about that some more if you want to. The next thing, of course, is the Illinois School Library District Grant. The application window has opened, so you can go ahead and submit. It's due on October 15th, with I think is a Sunday, so you will get to the next day. Does anybody need that link? Because I have that. If you need help applying for it, if you need help filling out any of the paperwork, please let me know. I will be glad to help you. Most of us have done it so many times now that we're just like, yeah, click, 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 and it goes straight on through. Something that is coming up that is good news, but not for this year, is the state library databases. Have you all heard about this? The new Secretary of State, Alexi Giannoulias, has put into his budget $5 million for statewide database access, but it's not going to help you this year, unfortunately. I've been talking to the woman who is working on it, and she is advising everybody to go ahead for contracts and everything this year to purchase the databases that you need, because they are just not going to have it up and going yet. But once they have it in place, she kind of presented it to me as a menu where you can select the ones that you want, and then you can take those off of your budget and put that money back into your library, like selecting books or getting new furniture or something else you need. I hope it doesn't go straight back to the district. So maybe think about that. The good news is that I've heard is that this is a permanent addition to the Secretary of State's budget. So we're not hopefully going to have it for 1 year and it will go away. Is this, Kate, chime in, because you were there when you heard Gwen talking about this. Am I getting it correct?
They are planning on this being an ongoing funded project. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Yes, that is their intention. So they
That's
are
what I
really
thought too.
looking into and researching before word goes out officially of what they will offer.
I have a question. Do you know if the state library is still going to have Try It Illinois in the fall? I have not heard that they aren't. So hopefully they will have Try It Illinois. Try It Illinois, if you don't know, is when the state of Illinois makes a whole bunch of different kinds of databases available for everybody to try for free. And it's usually, you hear about it in October and it's available from like November 1st to November 30th. It's one of my favorite times of year. Okay, let me see, what else do I have to tell you? Oh, some things that are coming up in the advocacy world. I am working on an administrators academy, which is a continuing education program for administrators where superintendents and principals can go to the ROE and take a course that gives them the professional development hours that they need. And there is one called Enhancing Student Learning Through the Library that Ruth Shastine from the University of Illinois was teaching with a partner, and she has retired and she turned this over to me. So I am updating that and finalizing it, and I hope to have it on the schedule this year at some ROEs, so that I have some administrators as captive audience for a little while, so I can put all the data and information in front of them about why it's so important to have school librarians. And on that same topic, if you hear me talk about Rails, I always start talking about Rails without explaining what Rails is. So Rails is the library system that is our counterpart to the north. So they cover like Chicago and the northwest suburbs and everything pretty much except for the city of Chicago, because they're so big, they're their own system. We work a lot with Rails because we have a lot of the same goals, and we are developing what we're calling a one-pager that is going to go through ISB, thanks to our school librarian representative. She has offered to send these out to superintendents across Illinois, and we are creating it to basically talk about like this is what a school librarian can do. This is what a non-certified person can do. This is what a teacher can do. And like all the different things that you can have by who you put on in your library. And then the other side is all the research that we currently have in kind of infographic form that shows why it is important to have school librarians, because it increases literacy scores and because it makes people read for pleasure, and kids who read for pleasure read better in academic settings and all of that good stuff. Advocacy, let's see, regional response team for book challenges. We are also working with Rails for that, and also the Illinois Library Association and the Illinois State Library. So we're working on a team that would be available if you got a call from your superintendent or from a parent. It's like, basically there's been a complaint, this book doesn't need to be on our shelves, take it off. And you're like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know the first thing to do. So it's going to be like kind of like a hotline. It's really going to be a form. It's not a phone. I think we will have a phone number, but it'll be faster to fill out the form. And then somebody who has experience in what you're needing will get back to you. So they will call you or email you or let you know some things that you can do. So you can ask, like, I need somebody to come to this board meeting with me so that I can defend this book and have somebody in my corner. Or can you give me some examples of other places where this book was challenged and where they decided to keep it on the shelf? So just anything that anybody can do to help you get through those times, which are very, very stressful. If you've ever had it happen to you, it can be very upsetting because emotions run high and it just gets very, very upsetting. The first time I had a book challenge, I didn't even work there anymore. They challenged a book in the library that I left, but it was a book that I had picked and I heard about it and I was so upset. And it wasn't my battle to fight even, but I was still very upset about it. So that is coming up. I'm trying to keep up with any questions in the chat. I don't see any. And then the data dashboard. You guys have heard me talk about the school library data project, probably many, many times. And that is the Rails project where they are collecting data from every school in Illinois and taking information about how many buildings there are, how many full-time equivalent positions they have for the library, what their budget is like, what their collection is like, and what they call that job. We've found out in that data project that there are over 300 job titles for school librarian in the state of Illinois. Some are library media specialists, some are media secretaries, some, some are just like library aide. There's just so many different ones. Shandy added, it's an ILA, IHLS Rails project, the data project. It is something that we're all collaborating on. So she has been collecting that data. Jeanette Durecki is the lead person on that. Some of you may have talked to her because she may have called you about your library, trying to understand how your library works. And they have recently renamed it to Slate. I'm going to put this in the chat so you can see it because it'll be hard to Slate, School Library Advocacy through data, or no, sorry, through education. And they are getting ready to launch the dashboard for that project. So many of you saw those questions on the certification form. And you were like, why are they asking this? And they're asking, like, how many books do you have on the shelf and what is your budget? The reason why we're asking is so that we can put it into this dashboard. And hopefully this dashboard will be a very useful tool for you to say, 3 towns over, there's a school that's exactly my size with about the same tax base, and they have a librarian in every building. And why don't we? So, or you can say, my budget is much smaller than schools that are our size throughout Illinois. So that dashboard, which is coming by the end of September, because I checked with her today, will be out there for you to see. And I'm really excited about it. I love data, and I think that a lot of admin make decisions based on data. So I think it's important that we have it to show them. All right, things that are coming up. I'm going to put this in the chat because my share screen is not working. The Illinois Library Workers Symposium is coming up. If you haven't heard about this, my screen is acting up. It is an all-day free virtual training day for school library staff. Anybody can apply for it, but preference is given to people who are working in a library who are not like certified school librarians. It's 9 to 3. PDH is available, and there's going to be 3 tracks. So there'll be like a keynote speaker, and then they'll be broken into different lessons based on high school, middle school, or elementary school. I'm really excited about that because library directors in the state of Illinois have something that we call Directors University, and school librarians didn't have anything. So I'm very excited about this. We have almost 250 people signed up to attend. So you've probably already heard about it, but just in case. The ISLE conference is coming up October 1st through 3rd. It's in Champaign, so it's a little bit closer for most of us who don't want to drive to Chicago. And let me think. One specific thing that is new this year is that they're going to let the systems present on the first day, kind of during the welcome ceremony, like not the ceremony, but like the welcoming remarks, talking about what we can do for everybody. So Rails will get one, Chicago Public Schools will get a room, and then IHLS will have a room. So if you are going to be there and you have time in your schedule, come and join us. We'll be giving out some of those stickers that say support school libraries. So be sure to come and ask me for one because they're really shiny and pretty. November 9th, you already heard about our material selection for schools, picks and policies. And then the last thing that I have to say, well, there's 2 more things I want to say, is on February 8th, 2024, Member Day will take place. We're not having it in the fall, we're having it in the early spring this year, late winter, early spring. So save that date for Member Day. And the last thing that I want to ask you to do, if you can, is we went last week to Mattoon at Lakeland College, and we had a networking session in person, and there were about 8 people there. Erica was there. I can see her face right there. And it was so fun. It was so fun and so helpful and so informative. And I want to do more of that. But it's really, really hard to pick a day and time that's good for everybody. So I'm putting a little survey in here that if you wouldn't mind clicking on it and answering a couple questions, just telling me like, would you come to one? If you would, when would be best for you? And how far can you drive to do something like that? So I would appreciate any feedback that you can give me. And right now I'm going to open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we have talked about today, or any comments? I'll take comments too. Or you can tell me some crazy back to school story that's happening. I have to talk for at least 5 more minutes so that I can round you up to 5 o'clock on your PDH.
Leah, I do actually have something that I forgot about mentioning whenever
Jump
I was
in, Colleen.
speaking
Go
about the
for it.
AMH system. It's not something obviously that we have formally decided on, but I know there's been kind of a lot of communications back and forth with the system, and we did send out a survey. I wasn't previously the delivery and facilities director. I actually have just transferred over to the delivery department from the finance department, but I've been involved in the automated material handling system kind of from the get-go. So make sure you're subscribed to the IHLS newsletters specifically for this topic. We'll be sending out information on that as it gets closer, but it's kind of been a hot topic item is where do barcodes go? I know that on every library, they've got their own choice of where they like barcodes to be. And if we do decide to move forward with an AMHS, if you are a shared library, as I've learned from now, is that barcodes will either need to be on the outside front or the outside back. It's not necessarily like it needs to be on the top, bottom, left, right, wherever, but the barcode would have to be on the outside of the item to be able to be read through the system. Now, obviously, we don't even know if we're getting this system yet. So don't go jumping, changing everything, but also I wanted you to be aware of that so that it could be something coming down the road in the next couple years where, and that does even apply to like DVDs, CDs, that kind of stuff. Now, we are looking into options with what's called barcode duplicators. I don't know if you're familiar with those. The system would be comfortable with helping libraries rebarcode because we do realize this is going to be a huge project for people that do not have barcodes on the outside of their materials right now and that don't have the staff and ability to be able to do this. So we did send out a survey, and I'm hoping to actually send out a little bit further survey to get some more details, because one realization we had is even though we have 9 million items in our software in Polaris, that does not mean that 9 million items actually circulate. So you don't have to go out there and barcode your whole collection. It's only as an item would circulate outside of your library that would need to be barcoded. So just kind of make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter so you do see that survey when it comes out. It may not be for a couple more months at least, but I just wanted everyone to be aware that that is something that could be a potential if we do decide to move forward with that.
So Colleen, would it be fair to say that if you were already considering moving where you put your barcode stickers, it would be prudent to do it the way that would be best for the AMH if it does come to fruition?
Yes, yes. Because I will say we did do what's called a request for information previously, and that was probably almost 2 years ago now, maybe if not a year and a half ago. And at that time, the return on investment did look promising, and it did look like it would be worth purchasing the equipment. Now, obviously, that was before COVID times and before all of the increases. So that's a concern for us, is how much will this equipment cost now? But it would be beneficial potentially for us depending on those costs. So please reach out to me directly if you have any questions about this, because of course there's many considerations that we need to think through before we do decide that this is a good choice to move forward with. So I just thought I better bring that up. Yay, and now we're left to 1
Yay.
minute.
Yes. So I was going to say that this is going to be recorded and put on our YouTube channel. So if you know somebody who couldn't be here today, please send them to our YouTube channel or just send them to me and I will make sure that they get it. Or if you want to hear something again that we talked about, because maybe we went too fast, you can go back and see the recording. Does anybody have anything they want to ask or tell me? I'm trying to see everybody's face. A lot of you have your cameras off because it's been a long day and you're probably fried, I'm guessing. No more questions. Okay, I'm going to put the sign out sheet in the chat. It's going to look just like the one I sent at the beginning. So sign out with the time as 4:45. And then tomorrow morning, I will send you this evaluation for today. And when you send the evaluation back to me, I will send you the evidence of completion for your PDH. I thank you so much for coming to spend this afternoon with us. I know you all are tired and it's Mary, just do it twice. Do the form twice. One to sign in and say the time that you came in, and then once to sign out. So if you missed signing in when you came in. And everybody here appreciated seeing you all and hearing from you all. And Michael, thank you so much for your input. I appreciate it greatly. That really
No problem.
helped.
I just wanted to say thank you for scheduling a back to school for school libraries.
Oh,
So,
you're welcome. Oh, and I
great.
forgot to mention the most important thing is that we now can offer PDH because we were approved by ISB. So I'm very excited about that. And now every school event from IHLS for continuing education will have PDH attached. And some of the ones for public, we will offer those as well. So it depends on the demand and if I can keep up. But, and then we are looking into, I will say this, ISB does allow for some, for issuance of PDH for remote, like if you review this later, we haven't gotten that far yet, but we're working on it. So if you review this later and we could track how long you were on, we would be able to issue PDH for that. And also some of our asynchronous courses through Share and through CMC. So that those are in the works. PDH for live and synchronous events currently is happening, but those other two options are coming soon. You're welcome. When I was a librarian, when I was the school librarian, I needed PDH constantly, and there was never any that applied to me. So I was always sitting through really boring stuff that didn't apply to me just so I could get my PDH. So I know it's important and helpful to librarians to have PDH that applies to them. That's all I have. So feel free to sign out as soon as you've signed the sheet, and have a wonderful school year. And don't forget to call or email if anything comes up you need help with.